Set up warrior here. I want to touch on a subject. Combination of two people made it possible for me to do this subject. A person who commented on my last live feed involving Disney, and an individual who did a live feed involving the music industry. On the road, I'm going to do a video involving the music industry and how all this ties in. Now, the basic synopsis of a Freemason. Freemasons are the bricklayers of society, of the country. They do things behind the scenes. They're basically trying to control society. That is what I'm being told, and that's what I'm seeing. Complimentsofhistory.com was said that in 1753, George Washington, the founding father and first president of the United States, was not only a Freemason, but a Master Mason. At that point in time, the highest rank in the secret fraternity of Freemasonry. There's some evidence to that fact, ladies and gentlemen. The key premise of this video is to make somewhat of a connection, if I can. If I can't, then the Freemasons won this one, and I may have to come out with an apology. However, if I can connect some sort of dots that can determine that the Illuminati may be connected or related to the Freemasons, then they're just going to have to out themselves. That's all there is to it. Although I don't see that happening. According to the Masonic Service Association of North America, for us to establish that connection, we must first learn the history of the Freemasonry in America. Their lineage and history goes all the way back to 1390 on a worldwide scale. It was in 1717 that four lodges in London formed the first Grand Lodge of England. It was within 30 years of that the fraternity was able to spread to the American colonies. I'm going to throw up some names here, and this will give you an idea major people that were part of the Freemasons during the early days. Of course, obviously this individual I told you about, George Washington, our first president, one of the founding fathers, was a Freemason. The same can also be said with Benjamin Franklin. He was also a Mason, and even the head of his lodge. Saying that goes right here, remember not only to say the right thing to the right place, but far more difficult, still have leave unsaid the wrong thing at the tempting moment. Another one that was a Freemason was also Paul Revere. You know, Paul Revere is an activist, an artisan, and a midnight rider, but Revere was also a member of a fraternity. Before his midnight ride, Revere learned to use metaphors and symbolic meaning from architecture, engineering, and masonry to lay the foundation for his place in American history. The British are coming. That is a fitting way. Other not so famous people include Joseph Warren, and yes, the infamous saying, put your John Hancock down. John Hancock himself was also a Freemason. Also, Baron Frederick von Steuben, he had a saying, keep true to the dreams of your youth. Nathaniel Greene was also a Freemason as well, as was Admiral John Paul Jones. He had a saying too, I have not yet begun to fight. Now, according to this site, they claim they help with non-profit causes, ranging from assisting operating children's hospitals, providing treatment for childhood language disorders, treating eye diseases, funding medical research, contributing to local community service, and providing care to Masons and their families at Masonic homes. On the outside, that seems like a valid argument. According to this website, Ephesians 5:11, it talks about how Masonic Grand Lodges promote the teaching of Lucifer is the Holy Spirit. Now, I had a thing for actually wanting to join the Freemasons. And something told me not to. Something told me to hold on. And then there's something I found out the next day. It just so happened that I found out this individual became a Freemason during the mid to late 1800s. Now, why is he so important? I'm about to show you. According to ATI, this site here, it provides some insight as to what really happened. How Albert Pike went from a Masonic teacher to satanic devil worshiper. Albert Pike's Masonic writings were taken out of context from an anti-Freemason author who made Pike out to be an occultist who regularly practiced summoning the devil. Now, what's going around is back in August 15th, 1871, American Freemason Albert Pike sent an extraordinary letter to the Italian revolutionary Gillespie Mazzini. The letter, which was briefly displayed at the British Museum before mysteriously disappearing in the 1970s, predicted a series of events that would take place decades after the author's own death. This was the main part of the First World War. It was the rise of the Bolshevik Revolution, the ousting of the Russian czars, the first phase of the Karl Marx experiment, turning Russia into what would later become the Soviet Union. This happened during the First World War. The Russians had to pull out. It also introduced a style of warfare, and over time, the map of Europe would drastically change, especially after World War I. World War I was also the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, broke up into many Middle Eastern nations over a 2-year period. The collapse started October 31st, 1918. In that same letter, he also wrote about what would happen with World War II. It also describes the rise of the Nazi Party and the introduction of a new government, fascism. Fascism involving dictatorial socialism, ladies and gentlemen. It would be that rise that would supplement the Second World War, and worse yet. But that's not the worst part. The world would be introduced to a devastating weapon no mortal man has ever seen create so much chaos and carnage out of one weapon. The world would be introduced to the atomic bomb. How much damage and carnage this weapon could create. How much devastation this weapon could create. That was for World War II. So many fatalities and so much pain and suffering. That very weapon right there, that very weapon there says it all. Very devastating. This individual here had a third prediction involving a third world war. Consequently, Christians and atheists would have to bow down to the devil because the Luciferian faith is the ultimate faith, not Christianity, not atheism, but the satanic teachings, ladies and gentlemen. That very Luciferian religion, in a lot of cases, he was referring to Islam. He said, we'll control Islam and we'll use it to destroy the West. He had no love for the America, for the United States. Confederate general, very dismissed. What I'm about to give you right now is a list of people who have been Freemasons that have partaken in American culture. One of them was Rory Acuff. Another was NASA astronaut Buzz Aldrin. Wouldn't you know it, Benedict Arnold was a Freemason. Even Eddie Arnold. He ran the East Nashville Lodge 560 in the American AM East Nashville, Tennessee. Look at this. Gene Autry even was a member of the Freemasons. He was part of the Catoosa Lodge number 185 in Oklahoma. Pierre Gustave Toutant Beauregard, PGT Beauregard, infamous statue came down last year. He was an American military officer, politician, inventor, writer, civil servant, and the first predominant general of the Confederate States Army during the American Civil War. Freemason. Well, look at there. Beethoven was a Freemason. Though no records exist, several of Beethoven's biographers state that he was a Freemason based on other evidence. But look at this. Mel Blanc, the infamous voice actor for a lot of the Looney Tunes cartoons. He was a Freemason. Says here he had the Midday Lodge number 188 out of Oregon. Omar Bradley, General Omar Bradley, the infamous general that had a tank named after him. He was part of the West Point Lodge number 877 out of New York. John Brown, American who led an anti-slavery revolt in Harper's Ferry, Virginia in 1859, was a Freemason who ended up defecting to become an anti-Mason. President James Buchanan, who was the 15th President of the United States and was part of Lodge number 43 out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Buffalo Bill Cody was also a Freemason. Seems the infamous British Prime Minister Winston Churchill was also a member of the Studholme Alliance Lodge number 1591 in the United Kingdom. It also seems Ty Cobb was also a member of the Freemasons. Royston Lodge number 426 out of Detroit. Apparently so was Nat King Cole. Apparently so was Samuel Colt, the manufacturer of the Colt revolvers. It seems Davy Crockett was also a Freemason. And apparently so was Aleister Crowley. Anglo-Saxon Lodge number 343 out of Paris, 1904. So was Roy Clark. country music singer, and was part of Jinx Lodge 497 out of Jinx, Oklahoma. You're joking. John Elway was even a Freemason. South Denver Lodge number 93 out of Denver, Colorado. Douglas Fairbanks, movie star and film director. Initiated in 1925 at the Beverly Hills Lodge number 528. Raised 11 August 1925. Same lodge. W.C. Fields, comedian, was out of the E. Copper Mitchell Lodge number 605 out of Philadelphia. Gerald Ford apparently was a Freemason too. Apparently Glenn Ford was also a Freemason. And yes, even manufacturing car maker Henry Ford. Palestine Lodge number 357 out of Detroit. Clark Gable was also a Freemason. Lodge number 528 out of California. 20th President of the United States, James Garfield, was also number 20 Columbus Lodge and number 30 in Gardosville Lodge number 246 in Ohio. The first man into space was also a Freemason. Concord Lodge number 688 out of Concord, Ohio. Apparently singer, songwriter, record producer, and pastor Al Green was a member of the Prince Ferry Freemasonry. Well, it seems Warren G. Harding, our 29th president, was also a Freemason. Lodge number 70 out of Ohio. Seems J. Edgar Hoover was also a member of the Freemasons. Federal Lodge number 1 out of Washington, D.C. We also have Harry Houdini, who also was a Freemason himself. The famous Sam Houston, who helped his victory after what happened with the Alamo. He was initiated at the Cumberland Lodge number 8 in Nashville, Tennessee. Andrew Jackson was also a Freemason. Harmony Lodge number 1. Well, looky here. Jesse Jackson was also a Freemason. Harmony Lodge number 88 out of Chicago, Illinois. The only president in United States history to be impeached. Freemason. Greenville Lodge number 119 in Tennessee. Well, looky here. LBJ. Johnson City Lodge number 561 out of Texas. EA degree only. Sir Thomas Lipton. Gentleman who invented Lipton iced tea. Freemason. General Douglas MacArthur. Manila Lodge number 1, 1936 out of the Philippines. Even the first black Supreme Court Justice, Freemason as well. Coal Creek Lodge number 88 out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. One of the Marx brothers, Harpo Marx, was a Freemason as well. Oh my God. Willie Mays was even a Freemason. William McKinley, the 25th president. Hiram Lodge, number 21, Virginia, demented to become a charter member of Eagle Lodge, number 431, after later renamed William McKinley Lodge, Ohio. 5th President of the United States, James Monroe. Williamsburg Lodge, number 6, out of Williamsburg, Virginia. Miyagi Pat Morita, not just a Freemason, he was also a Shriner. The infamous Mozart, composer, the Zur Warkatite Charity Lodge out of Austria, composed several pieces of Masonic ritual music. War hero Audie Murphy, North Hollywood Lodge number 542. He was a Mason. Y'all not gonna believe this. Even Shaquille O'Neal is a Freemason. Made a Masons at sight by the most worshipful Prince Hull Grand Lodge of Massachusetts, F and AM, member of Widow's Son Lodge number 28 in Boston. Brad Paisley, a Freemason. Southern Jurisdiction, Scottish Rite. Former golfer Arnold Palmer. Loyal Hannah Lodge number 275 out of Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Fess Parker, who was famous for playing Davy Crockett on TV. Mount Olive Lodge number 506 out of California. James K. Polk. He was the 11th President of the United States. Initiated on June 5th, 1820. Columbus Lodge number 31, Tennessee. Comedian Don Wrinkles. Raised 6 June 1953. Service City Geba Lodge number 1009 out of Astoria, New York. Obviously, Sugar Ray Robinson was also a Freemason. Roy Rogers was a Freemason. Hollywood Lodge number 355 in California. Even Will Rogers was a Freemason. Claremore Lodge number 53 out of Oklahoma. FDR apparently was a Freemason. Holland Lodge number 8 out of New York. Even Teddy Roosevelt was a Freemason. Mateen Cock Lodge number 806 out of Oyster Bay, New York. Honorary member of the Lodge of King Solomon's Temple number 3464. I was wondering when these names were going to come up. You've got the first of two Rothschilds, James Mayer de Rothschild, initiated October 24th, 1802, out of the Emulation Lodge, number 12 in London. And then there's the other one, Nathaniel Meyer Rothschild, same lodge, same day. Apparently Peter Sellers of the Pink Panther theme and Dr. Strangelove, Chelsea Lodge number 3098 out of Oogley. William Howard Taft, U.S. President, 27th President, made a Mason at sight inside Kill-Winning Lodge number 356 in Ohio. February 18, 1909, Kill-Winning Lodge number 356 in Ohio. Honorary member of the Lodge of King Solomon's Temple, 3464. See, I knew about Harry Truman being a Freemason. Belton Lodge number 450 out of Belton, Missouri. In 1940 to 1941, he was the Grand Master of that same lodge. Well, look at this. Samuel Clemens, a.k.a. Mark Twain, was also a Freemason. Jack L. Warner, film producer, co-founder of Warner Brothers. Mount Olive Lodge number 506 out of California. There's the other one, Samuel L. Warner, film producer and co-founder of Warner Brothers. Same lodge, like his brother. Chief Justice Earl Warren, Grand Master of California from 1935 to 1936. Booker T. Washington, also a Freemason. He was a Mason at sight. Oh my God, you're joking. John Wayne? Marion McDaniel Lodge, number 56 out of Arizona. The infamous Cy Young, raised February 29, 1904, in Mystique Tie Lodge 194 in Denison, Ohio. Doesn't change a thing, because whether they're good or bad, they served a purpose. I feel for those who endured the pressure, but they put it on themselves. They want to do better for society. There's no such thing as doing better for society. All you have to do is do it for yourself. You don't need this to inspire you. Whether they're good or bad, it does not matter. They serve that achieved purpose. Does it connect to how these people succeed in life? I'm going to assume that it doesn't. But if it does, it's a shady practice. And for those of you who are Freemasons and you take offense to this, I apologize. Some of those people I mentioned, they up to no good. Albert Pike included. You guys shouldn't have allowed him into your deal, into your order. Bad news, man. Folks, if you've seen this, please share the video. Thank you.